Hi, this is Lucy at Pilates Birmingham. I'm going to show you how to do a lateral sliding lunge today. This exercise is really good for stabilising the hip, and it particularly focuses on using Glute Med. I'm not going to go into that too much. If you want more information about Glute Med and other exercises, I'm going to pop a link up here. If you go for long walks and you tend to come back with lower back pain, pain in the knee, pain in the hip, and you find that your gait when you're walking is not very stable, you might be rotating, you might be pushing into the hip when you're trying to walk, you might be swinging, and it's causing you pain, it's likely that you have a weakness in your glute med. So this exercise is really going to help you with that. So sometimes you'll see people do this exercise with trainers or shoes on and something soft underneath their foot, like a folded towel or a blanket. I prefer to just put socks on and do it on a hard floor. I find it's a little bit easier to control in this way. So we're going to focus on doing the right leg first of all. So we're stabilising the right hip, the right glute med, which means we're moving the left leg. So bring your hands onto your hip bones. You're going to keep your hip bones level to the floor, and taking the weight down into that right leg, try not to rotate into the hip, try not to push out into the hip. So already you've got to really squeeze into the side of the hip. It's like you're lifting up the bottom, but you're squeezing into the side of the hip to stop the hip from doing those things. Your toes are in line with your heels, and then you're sliding your left leg out to the side, and then you're sliding back. So you're sliding your left leg out to the side and you're sliding back. Focus on what you're doing on your right leg more than your left. When you slide the left leg out, your knee is tracking in line with your big toe and your second toe, so you don't want your knee in or out. So you're tracking your knee in line with your big toe, second toe, and you're coming straight back up. You don't want to be swinging your hip forwards. You don't want to be swinging your hip back. So any of those rotations. So you're keeping your hip bones facing forwards. Imagine you've got two beams of light coming from your hip bones and you're keeping that beam facing forwards. You don't want the beam to switch into the corners of the room. So you're sliding that leg out, the knee tracking in line with the toes, the hip bones remaining forwards. You've got to really squeeze and grip in to that right leg as you're coming up. So you're sliding out, focus on that tracking, squeeze into the hip as you come back up. We'll take it on to working the left leg, which is moving the right leg. And I'm just going to show you, if you find that you find this exercise difficult because you're swinging or you're pushing into the hips are rotating, just use a wall as a support. So if you're working on stabilising your left leg, hold onto the wall on your left side and remember you're sliding your right leg away. But you've got yourself there supported and you're focusing on that knee tracking in line with the big toe, second toe, and then you've got to really squeeze into that left hip to come back up. So the knee is tracking in line with the big toe, second toe, and then squeeze into the hip. Just make sure if you're using a wall as a support that when you come back up, you're not pushing onto the wall to come back up. Your focus is stabilizing that hip. So when you come back up, make sure you're not pushing out or rotating in any way. Really squeeze into the hip to come back up. Sliding out and squeeze into the hip. I hope you found this video helpful. There'll be some links popping up down the bottom here, and one of them is my hip exercises playlist. So do head there if you want some more exercises for the hips. And if you head on over to my channel and subscribe, remember to click the bell icon and you'll get notifications when I release new videos. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you again.